So here we are in the basement. Alex is doing a bathroom renovation.
And it's a little bit complex because we are below grade. We do have standing groundwater in a short distance down from the slab. But we have multiple issues with basements, and one of them is the fluffy standard insulation up against a concrete wall. In referring to the Mike Holmes book, when you have standard insulation up against a concrete wall, you have air circulation. And because the earth is a constant temperature versus the air in the room, when you have a wall that's open like this, you're going to have air circulation, therefore you're going to have temperature indifferences, therefore you're going to have moisture. Moisture in the walls creates problems, and so we've actually removed all the old wall that was here to expose it, to see what the structure is, and rebuilding it properly. And rebuilding it properly means a rigid styrofoam insulation on the concrete with 1/4-inch air gaps, and this will be the same for the floor. It'll be 1-inch styrofoam on the floor, and 1.5 or 2-inch styrofoam on the walls with spray foam in the gaps and all the seams sealed. Then you can frame something externally from that and insulate that with standard insulation, or we're going to use rock wool, which is mine tailings, doesn't harbor mold, mites, mildew, things like that.
And what about the glue on the floor?
That's right. And then with a standard slab with a minimum code insulation here, which is only 24 inches out from the stem wall, the rest of the floor isn't insulated, so it's a constant changing in temperature. And so as a result, you can't put anything really on the concrete without molding, especially if you use a mastic glue, any kind of product that's just glued. Even mastic and tile, you're always going to have a moisture issue. A lot of the old homes didn't have a vapor barrier. This one does have a minimum vapor barrier. So the solution in the Mike Holmes book is no vapor barrier and no sealing, as in a epoxy sealer or anything like that. Just 1 inch of foam right on the concrete, isolating the floor from the concrete. Then the 5/8 plywood, tongue and groove, on that surface, hiltied or attached to the concrete right through, and then you can go ahead with your floors inside. And that isolates flooring products from the cold and eliminating temperature indifferences, which creates moisture problems. And so you can kind of zoom in here, Scott, and you can see what actually this created was a raceway for mice and rodents. So that is, this is how it was built, this original wall here. So raw framing, regular insulation, regular...
Oh, then they furred that out with 2x2s and then...
Furred out, regular drywall,
right.
and vapor barrier, which really is unnecessary in a basement. If you've got a solid insulated wall with no air movement, you don't actually need the vapor barrier.
And show me what happened to those 2x4s on the bottom.
Right, so then what happened here is that the 2x4s, the subfloor, was just laid right on the concrete, and then what ended up happening was then they decided to put a vapor barrier over that surface with the subfloor here, and you can kind of zoom back over here. You can swing that light around a little. We have this issue here, and what we have is a moist slab, wood right from the lumber store, and you can see the white fungus there, and I can actually stick my fingernail right into that. So that's going soft. I don't know how old this is, maybe 10, maybe 15 years old. Vapor barrier on top of that, and plywood.
Just trapped in the moisture.
Exactly. So if you trap the moisture in, you created the problem right from day one. There's no way the moisture can actually get out. So again, back to the other option, quoting the Mike Holmes book, it's 1.5 or 1 inch styrofoam, depending on your ceiling height. The thicker, the better. 1 inch is what's recommended, and then 5/8 plywood on that, and then your flooring on that, eliminating this issue where you have moisture trapped in between products. And being 2x4s from the lumberyard, naturally they'll have moisture in them right from the day you buy them, and that moisture has to get out. So if you use manufactured products to do your basement properly, without moisture in them right from the very beginning, then you've eliminated that issue.
Well, thank you, Alex.
You're welcome. So that is the
Stay
basement.
tuned for part 3 next.
Okay.